In this video, I want to talk about client testimonials, if you get them, where you should put them, and why. Let's get into it. Hello and welcome to Therapy Business School. This channel is for therapists, qualified and student, to give you some tips and tricks and some advice from a lot of the mistakes that I've made in those areas. My name is James Taylor. I'm an online counsellor, hypnotherapist and life coach. I'm also a YouTuber, an author and a podcaster. So, where are you with client testimonials? How do you feel about this? About a client leaving you a testimonial, maybe asking for a testimonial, that's another one. But how do you feel about this? Because there's an issue with this in therapy that is unlike other professions. If you go for a nice meal in a restaurant, I guess you wouldn't mind leaving a review on Google perhaps. Meal was fantastic, staff were great, or the meal was not so good, whatever it might be. Same if you maybe got an electrician in, or a plumber. Let's say you had a leak in the kitchen and you get a plumber in and the plumber does a fantastic job and fixes it super quick time. You probably wouldn't feel too bad about leaving a review on that plumber's website or leaving them a Google review. Therapy is a bit different, because if you do this for a plumber or an electrician, your name's out there and you don't mind declaring, I had a problem with the kitchen, I got a plumber in. You probably wouldn't mind admitting that. But for some people, therapy is a very, very private aspect of their life and they may not want people to know they've had therapy. So how do you get around this? So I'm going to talk about that in a bit more detail, but I'm also going to do a show and tell that if you were to get a review or a testimonial from a client, how easy it is to add it to your social media. All right, so that's the long introduction. Let's get into it. Now, this topic often comes up in counselling forums regarding getting testimonials. But because I do three different things, I'm a counsellor, a hypnotherapist and a life coach, the dynamics are slightly different for me, and I do appreciate that might not be the same for yourselves. But here's my stance on it. Well, first of all, let me explain a few other things. There's a therapist that I know, and I saw this on one of these counselling forums, where this question came up. And what they've got a page on their website for testimonials. And when you click on that page, it says, there's nothing to see here. I don't have any testimonials. Or I don't show any testimonials. Doesn't mean they haven't been thanked by their clients, but they have nothing displayed on their own website. Now, that may be a very personal or professional decision for that therapist in particular. But what I would suggest is you've got to look at this from a potential client's point of view. A potential client might want to look on your website and know you've helped someone else in these different areas. That might help them increase their faith in you. They might be a bit concerned, or maybe not, to look on a website on the testimonial page and there's an explanation from you that there's nothing here because you don't disclose anything. That might help. That might make your potential client think, well, I like the idea of that. I like the fact that there's nothing there. But generally, if you're going to buy something, let's say you're going to buy something off Amazon, do you ever look at the reviews to see what other people who've done this before you, what they think of that service? I know I do. And in fact, I've been put off from buying a product on the back of some negative reviews that are on Amazon. So, what do you think? Put your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think testimonials are a good thing? Do you think testimonials are a bad thing? Personally and professionally, I think they're a good thing. But there's a caveat with this. If a client ever wants to send me a message as a thank you, or even if they ask, where can I leave you a Google review? I get very, very clear with them about whether they're okay with their name being displayed or not. Now, if they put a Google review on, their name is going to be displayed because I have no control over that. That's a Google thing. But let's say they were okay with the testimonial being on my website. Well, they can either keep the name It could be initials only, it could be a fake name or name withheld, but I get clarification from them how they would like that to be. And whatever they're okay with, I'm okay with. So whatever's comfortable for them. Because I know their review, as long as it's a positive one, is going to help my business. So I think it's a good thing. So that's one way of doing it, where it can be they send you something and then you pass it to your web designer, or you just cut and paste and put it on your website. But what about another dynamic? What about if they send you a WhatsApp message, and that WhatsApp message could be a great testimonial for what you do? I'm thinking away from your website. What about if you wanted to put it on your own social media? Because I would suggest again that more people are likely to go onto your social media platforms than perhaps your website, maybe. And it's a good idea to have these things on your social media platforms, because again, it shows other people, oh, you helped with that. You do that as well. I suffer from a bit of that. I've got a friend who suffers from a bit of that. Maybe if you've helped that person, maybe you could help my friend. Do you see how it works? The power of this thing. And it is powerful, because you can put loads of things on your website or your social media about what you do and your competency, which is all right, but you could be talking a load of old rubbish. But if someone else puts something else about what you do, that carries more weight. Okay, so I'm going to show you a little very easy, quick way of, if you were to get a WhatsApp testimonial, for instance, how to put it on your social media profiles. All right, I'm going to be using a software called Canva, and I will link Canva below. There's a free version and a paid version. I use the paid version. I'm on no commission for recommending Canva, but I use it in all regards for anything I do regarding social media. All right, so let's flip the screen. I'll show you how to do this, and I've done a few things in preparation of this already, but I'll explain what they are as we get into it. So let's get into it. So first of all, you go to canva.com, canva.com, and what you do is, let's say you're going to put this on a Facebook post. Okay, you go over here to the top right hand corner and you create a design, and you can type in here Facebook, and you'll see it comes up with all different kinds of things. Now, one of the beautiful things about Canva is it does all the sizing for you automatically, so you haven't got to worry about, will this post be the right size for this platform? Okay, so on this one we're going to do a Facebook post landscape. So I'm going to click on this. So here in the middle, this is the actual size of the template that we're going to use. That's the correct size for a Facebook post. Now, what I've done before this is I've sent myself a spoof WhatsApp message, and you'll see what that is in a moment. And I've taken a screenshot of it and I've saved it to my photos. And what I've done in Canva is I've already uploaded that photograph to Canva, and that's super easy to do. So going back to Canva, this is what it looks like. If you're going to do it, you go to this uploads section here, okay? And on the uploads, you can either upload a file or you can search one that you've already done. Here's the one that I did before. So I'm just going to click on it and it will drop it into the middle of our canvas. And you can move this around just by a left click on your mouse and move it around. So the white is the actual size of the canvas. So I'm going to take this up to the top corner. I'm going to drag it down to the bottom right. And that size is okay. But there's a problem with this message. This is the spoof message. To Bob, thank you for all your help with my anxiety issues. Best wishes, Joe Blogs. You're revealing personal details on here. So a way to get around this, you go back over to the left hand side and you click on elements on the left. And you could type in shape. Now, it gives you a variety of different shapes here. But let's say we're going to use let's say we're going to use this one here, just because the edges are rounded and it's not so square. So we're going to use this one. We click on it. It drops it onto the canvas. So here's what I'd recommend you do. Go over to the top where the transparency button is, click it, and reduce the transparency so you can see through that box. And then you drag the box over the bit you want to cover up, anxiety issues. You go back up to transparency, up to 100 to black out, and then you go over to this colour here. And when you click on the colour, you have a variety of colours you can choose from. So let's just pick black. And then there is that bit edited out. Looks great. But there's another problem. Joe Blogs is still being shown. So here's how to get around that. Well, I'll show you two ways. One way is to click on the box that you've already created, right click, copy, right click, paste, and it makes another box for you that's already coloured in. Again, up to transparency, reduce the transparency so you can see through it, cover the name, get it all formatted or sized, back up to transparency, up to 100, and there is that post. That is now okay, but I'll show you another way of doing it. It's the same way as the first way really. So let's say we want to do Joe Blogs. We go over to our shapes again, click on a shape, drag it approximately where you want it to go, do the transparency so we can see it, back up to transparency, back over to 100, over to colour, make it black, and then there is our edited social media post. Now all you'd need to do then is over on the right hand corner where it says share, you click on that and you click on download, and then you click on download and it would do it for you. So that's a really easy way of having a file that you can import on any social media platform you like. Now let's say it wasn't going to be Facebook, let's say it was going to be Instagram or LinkedIn or whatever it might be. If you go into Canva, if you start typing in Instagram, it will have an Instagram post size. If you do LinkedIn, there will be a LinkedIn size. So it's a fantastic little tool for getting a testimonial on your website. Now, let's say your client was okay doing a video testimonial. How would you do that? One tip: with their phone, don't get them to do it that way. Get them to do it that way. Okay? That way, because that way it's going to be in landscape mode, not portrait. Alright? If you get them to do a video, or they're happy doing a video testimonial, here's some advice I'd say about this. Tell them, don't make it about me. Make it about you. Maybe start off with, before I couldn't do X, Y, and Z, and it felt like A, B, and C. But now I can do X, Y, and Z, and that feels like D, E, F. Now, if you give them guidelines, it helps the person who wants to leave you a video review. It helps them have some structure to it. And they will include you in there somewhere with their video review. Now, when I've had video reviews in the past from clients, I will say to the clients, don't worry about it being articulate. As long as I can hear you and see you, that's the most important bit. And don't worry about if you make a mistake. What I'll do is I will get the video file and I will take that. Let's say you mess your words up. I will just take that bit out and splice the loose ends together. All right. And then when they give you a video file, then you can either do it yourself if you're confident in that area, or you can outsource it to someone else to make you a very, very short video review. And then you can put that on your website. I've got a few on my website, I have a few on my other therapy channel, and I've got my testimonials, and it just speaks volumes for potential clients, because I've got people who've done video reviews for wanting to stop smoking. Now again, because I'm a hypnotherapist, there isn't really the stigma of going to see a hypnotherapist to stop smoking. In fact, many people like to shout from the rooftops, I'm now a natural non-smoker. But if someone was coming to you for anxiety issues or bereavement or a relationship breakup, there might be a very different dynamic, and they just want to keep it very private and very personal between the two of you, and that is absolutely to be respected. All right. But if you find a client who you think might be a good candidate to leave you a testimonial, don't ask, don't get. All right. So that's my views on that. Please add your views in the comments below. On a side note, and thank you for staying to the end if you're still here, on a side note, I've also created a private Facebook group just for therapists, either qualified or student, and the link for that will be in the description below. All right. So I hope this has been a longer than normal one, bit of a show and tell, but I will see you on the next episode of Therapy Business School. And if you think I've earned your subscribe click, please do that as well. Bye bye.